Hey everybody, it's Chris Bumray here again from JoBlo.com with another video movie review. This week we're taking a look at the much anticipated Alien Covenant from Ridley Scott, his follow-up to Prometheus. Now, this takes place several years after Prometheus, where a spaceship crewed by couples carrying about 2,000 potential colonists has a disaster and winds up on the planet of the Engineers, which you'll remember from the last film. There they discover Michael Fassbender's David, rebuilt since the last movie, and a secret that the planet contains, which naturally leads to much carnage. Now, the Alien saga has always run the gamut in terms of quality. There have been absolutely amazing installments like Alien and Aliens, some absolutely horrible ones such as Alien Resurrection, which I've always thought is the Batman and Robin of the series, and the Alien vs. Predator films. And then there are the ones that come somewhere in the middle, including Alien 3, which I've always thought is somewhat underrated, and Prometheus, which I'd say is on the high end. Add to that middle segment Alien Covenant, the movie that Ridley Scott promised would tie right into the first Alien, meaning we'd finally learn how the xenomorphs came to exist. Now, given that it's been 31 years since the last truly amazing Alien movie, hopes were high for Covenant, but this one is far more in line with Prometheus than anything else, with presence of the xenomorphs really only tacked on to the last act. Otherwise, it's very similar to its predecessor in both good ways and bad. Like Prometheus, Alien Covenant is very concerned with the theme of faith versus science, and similar to the last film, there's a character, here played by Crudup, who's trying to reconcile their faith with the mysteries of the universe, just like Noomi Rapaz's Shaw did in the last film. However, this has been backburnered a bit this time around, with our heroine, Katherine Waterston's Daniels, being more pragmatic, kind of a Ripley sort. Of everyone, it's Michael Fassbender in a dual role who gets the most screen time, with his David returning from the last film in a major way, while he also plays the unaccented, less ambiguous Walter, a more traditional robot in the Bishop model who serves on Waterston's crew. It's really this lack of traditional protagonist that hurts Covenant, with the potentially interesting Walter getting too little screen time to really make an impression, and it's David who's clearly captured Scott's imagination. The much hyped Ripley-esque heroine proves to be a letdown. Waterston is good, but the part is thinly written and not formidable enough. You really need a good, engaging hero to get behind in movies like this, and that's a lesson many monster movies haven't learned. Ripley and Arnold Schwarzenegger's Dutch in Predator are still the gold standard, and Waterston's not given enough to do, and lacks the presence of someone like Sigourney Weaver. But I'll be the first to admit, that's a very tall order to fill. The rest of the crew, despite being peppered with notable character actors like Demian, Bichir, Carmen Ejogo, and Billy Crudup, are mostly anonymous cannon fodder, with only Danny McBride really making an impression in a mostly straight-laced part. No one has done much help by the script from John Logan and Dante Harper, which is full of lame-brain decisions by the crew and easy-to-predict twists. Scott's also thrown in some really goofy scenes that would have been better left on the cutting room floor, like a climatic all-out Born Identity-style martial arts fight between two characters. I'm not going to spoil who, but at least it's not between someone and the xenomorph. It's silly, but it's not that silly. What's especially strange about Alien Covenant is how the xenomorphs themselves seem like an afterthought, like there's something Scott had to throw in for commercial reasons, but didn't really have much actual use for. You never really even get a great look at them, making one nostalgic for the first three films when they were actually played by people in suits. At least then they felt like living, breathing creatures, and more of a threat. But here they're just another CGI critter, which we've seen over and over and over again in pretty much every other monster movie that's come out over the last 20 or so years. While underwhelming, Alien Covenant does have some redeeming elements. For one, Scott's given it a jaunty pace, running a lean 2 hours and having very little fat on it. It's also an exceedingly pretty film to look at, with Dariusz Wolski's cinematography making this a must for the biggest screen you can find, and Jed Kerzl's score is also really good in how it reuses some cues from Jerry Goldsmith's Alien score. Also, I should note that Michael Fassbender is terrific in the movie in both parts. As let down as I was by the film, and it was really my most anticipated movie of the year after Blade Runner 2049, it's never dull and definitely entertaining. It's not a great Alien movie or even a really good one, but it's not a disaster either. For me, this is about a cut below Alien 3 and Prometheus, but above the really bad ones. If Ridley Scott really does go through with the sequels, I think there are enough threads left hanging here that could lead to a really good installment. But until then, we're just going to have to make do with this okay one. I give this one a middling 6 on 10. I'm disappointed, but hey, it's still Alien, so go see it. Until next time, I'm Chris Bumray from JoBlo.com.